Is this mechanicing?
Oh, let's see. Show what you're doing.
Showing my ass.
Whatever it takes to get the viewers.
Well, here we go, let's get those wheels out on the road. It may get dusty, but that's the way she goes. We'll build some greasy old cars and drink our AGD. Hey, don't you know, it's partly built.
Did you go, you dirty son of a bird?
We have got ourselves booked into the Miles of Mayhem, which we talked about this earlier. And yeah, registration opened up this last Saturday, and we got ourselves in, spot number 19. So yeah, we're ready to see.
So Miles of Mayhem is same thing as like Drag Week and Rocky Mountain Race Week. It's 4 tracks, 5 races, 5 days. Drive between your tracks. You gotta carry what you need with you. No service vehicles, no help other than your co-pilot. So I'm gonna be the co-pilot.
Yeah, and we're ready to have 1700K of fun with this unit.
Filming this thing. There you have the masterful 5.7 truck intake.
There we go. Hemi intake is on. Alrighty, so ripping these injectors out for 5.7 truck. So I need the rail, and I'm gonna ram these 6.1 injectors in because I can't use the car rail on this.
Because I knew we had to be trucker.
Oh, like you just ran like a shirt and you're like,
Look at this dirty walrus. You know, like imagine like someone in a professional shop, they've probably got a bench that's perfectly clean, no dirt anywhere, everything's washed off, they're setting injectors in a nice clean pail. Okay, so engine installed, intake on. I have a little rundown. As you can tell, using a truck 5.7 intake. Reason being is this 6.1, I have different plans on what's gonna go and replace that. And the factory 6.1 intake, I sold to a guy on the Gen 3 Swap Hemi page on Facebook. He was looking for one, and I knew I didn't need it for the plans I was gonna do with this. So I just offloaded it, didn't need it. And just timeline didn't work out, so I don't have the new setup done yet. But we will have some videos in the future of me fabricating it up and go from there. Alrighty guys, I'm just gonna show you something here that I don't think has ever seen the graces of video. So, back when I originally did a Hemi swap into my 78 Firebird, it was using a truck 5.7 that was out of a 2005 Ram, half-ton, all that fun jazz. Anyways, as we all know, Dodge on their Hemis never had a cable throttle body. They were always the electric ones. So, local junkyard, he had a GM 454, like a 2000 or a 1999, don't know. Cable throttle body, but only 3 bolts, and knowing God's green earth, that's gonna mount right there. So, back then, this was, oh God, back in 2015, we'll call it. I didn't have access to much of stuff I do now, and honestly, even if I did, I'd probably still make something of this quality because I like to rush through things and just get it done. So I introduce you the grossest looking adapter probably ever on God's green earth. So what it has here is the 2 alignment holes on those dowels in the intake manifold and the 4 bolts to bolt this thing to the 5.7, and then this spuds on right there, and there you go, you got your cable throttle body. And it actually works really well. I mean, it don't look pretty, but my lord, does it work. And if you notice here, this was a oopsie on my side, because when I was making this, I just made 2 trenches here, because one is for the idle air control, and the other, I still have no clue what it is. Turns out it just goes out the atmosphere. I wasn't paying attention. When I fired the engine up, it just decided to skyrocket in RPMs because it's drawing so much air. So I just plugged that full of weld, and it works. So basically, when this is on here, I also did a kick down on it so I could have the throttle body sit more or less level. There we go. Throttle body on. Also, before I leave, I should give a little heads up. There is a trick you can do, and I've already done it, but sadly I've lost the throttle body, so that doesn't really help. But here's a different one. There's a trick you can do where you punch a hole right down in here, weld a shaft on there, take out the guts, and you can give yourself a cable linkage. And you just use a throttle position sensor off this. And if you're idle air control, you got 2 options. You can do one, set the throttle blade with a screw, but choke is going to be kind of a bugger if it's a cold start. Or number 2 is, there's this place online, if I can find it, I'll shoot a link in the video there. But it's a block that uses an idle air control motor from a Jeep 4-liter, and it just threads in here, and it's just a universal block with 2 barbs. You hook one fitting after your air filter, and the other one just goes into one of these vacuum ports, and that's how you just feed your engine the idle air. And they work good. I'm gonna order one for this thing once I find my other throttle body, or end up having to adapt, like modify this one. Don't know yet. See where we go.
All right, so off camera, I pulled the alternator back off. I moved that oil pressure sensor to the hole where the factory Dodge one would have been in the 6.1, and put the plug back in the hole where I had it in. And then I just stuffed the radiator in and just put the hoses on. Nothing's clamped, just to make sure the lines would fit, and the factory Chrysler lines fit. Because the coolant tubes for the heater and the overflow didn't fit under the truck intake, we've modified them. We just need to tack up the brackets, then we'll pull them out and we'll weld the brackets. I got the throttle body adapter ground up a little bit and painted so it doesn't look quite as ugly. Got it on, got the throttle body on, got the cable on up here. I built the line from the regulator to the fuel rail. This is the battery cable that goes from the alternator down to the starter. This we stole off the Firebird, so it should work fine in here. It fits down to the starter, no problem. In fact, there's extra cable. I'll bring you around to the other side here. All right, over here we just got the catch can sitting there. We don't know if that's where it's going to be. I took the fitting from the factory power steering pump on the 6.1, and I just cut the shell off it and pulled the hose off. And then I took the lower hose that's factory for the truck, and I just kind of figured out length and angles. So we'll have to figure out, hopefully they have enough straight here that we can use like a tube flare fitting. We can use one on this. We got lots of straight down here, so that's not going to be an issue. Because it's a pressure line, we just have to make it right. I've got the starter in, you can't see it. I still have to run a cable from the starter to the battery, and we still have to do all the ground cabling, and we still have to put the wiring harness on the engine, but I'm not going to run any more wiring until we get the heater box in, so that I can finish the underhood wiring. We still got to wire up the fans, we still got to run wiring and a relay down for the fuel pump. Okay, quick update. Modified the throttle cable so it actually works with the pedal. Got the clutch master cylinder and reservoir mounted. Installed the clutch line. Replaced the alternator. Put decent clamps on the coolant hoses to the rad. We still have to figure out a reservoir and get it plumbed in so that everything will bleed correctly. Fuel lines are all completely done. Vacuum line for the booster is done. And now I'm going to start running the electrical.
Alrighty, so we're out at our lovely parts store again. I need myself a nice coolant reservoir with pressure cap. I'm gonna get from this lovely Dodge Dart, and then this Eagle Talon over here.
This Eagle is just such a gift.
It's just gonna donate us
and yes,
power steering.
This is the Eagle that Stephen tasted the dipstick on. Would you like to do it again, sir?
No, that kind of taste stuck around for a little too long. Didn't enjoy it that much.
Okay, so you got to take the reservoir, and what else?
I think that. Oh, and then we're gonna take a B&M fuel pressure gauge.
So we found right down in there, and that'll go good on our reservoir to replace the broken one.
Because as you guys can tell from one of those videos, yeah, that one it's a little smashed. The engine kind of took it head on when I pulled it out of the Firebird once. It still works, but it just ain't the prettiest.
Do we need a turbo?
I mean, like, you know, generally just don't say no.
Would you like to turbo your Cobalt?
I mean, I don't know if it's screwed, but it would be kind of neat.
Okay, let's get some work done.
But no.
Now to Steven's favorite car. It's a nice knife.
No, right? I should almost get a knife that's fully serrated just for this purpose.
Hazard. Ah! Just wipe that off in the grass. The Talon. Our favorite car. Oh,
let's just dress it up a little bit.
Just keep it from rusting.
Oh, these gears needed a long time ago, but let's just see if we can restore them.
Well, I thought you were going to oil the belt so it didn't rust.
Oh, that too, and get rid of the squeaking.
Yeah, get rid of the squeaking, oil the timing belt, because that won't swell or anything. Actually, it won't, because this engine will never run again, but...
I mean, it'll swell, but it just really won't matter.
Well, that's just swell.
Ew!
Not on me. Find some freaking straw or grass.
Nice hose.
Hey, I don't know much, but I know hose.
This man's balling, rolling in hose.
Bon Jovi, slippery when wet.
To work on the truck, you must become part of the truck.
You must become one with the truck.
Okay, so here we have a lovely list of parts. We got a nice grill, one piece broken, but mine has a couple chunks out, so I'm gonna try and possibly scavenge some and weld them in, do my best. A grill, or not a grill, a headlight bezel, because one of mine is cracked. Got the old squirters for the windshield washer. I don't know where the other one is. Okay. Wiper motor, hood latch, power steering reservoir, coolant reservoir, radio bezel because I might need it for my truck, and an 8000 Rip'em tack. So I think, oh, and right, wiper motor, or not wiper motor, wiper switch, and the old fuel gauge. So,
and
oh, right, yes, the Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet cassette. So I think we got ourselves a decent pile of parts, so get them into town.
Let's go back to the shop
And get working.
Alright, so while Steven's been screwing around with the interior, I found a good spot for our power steering reservoir that we stole off that Eagle Talon. And this is, was that off the Dart? Yeah, this is off like a 14 Dodge Dart. And I just hung it from some brackets with some spacers underneath here. Piece off a Jaguar just to get some variety in here. Yeah. And then I took 1 inch and 1/16 Mastercraft socket, cut 1/8 of an inch off the top, And then it goes on this little nubbin over here, like this. It's hard to do with the camera. And then it bolts right there to support the bottom. So, Steven's just gonna go finish welding this up now. Don't forget to take the rubber out.
Get that done. Lay a bead around here and get her going.
Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It's at Barkley Built. For those of you who feel so inclined, feel free to press that like button, that subscribe button. Every time you click it, it helps us a whole bunch. Thanks for watching. Catch us next time.
Have a good day.